Annie.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Surely not got a shake on, have you, Annie? Not you.
Somebody just walked over my grave. What place?
Never know these days, do we? Till they get nicked. Who we've got on our ground.
You're going to ask me over Dinara Tells?
Am I?
Express message from Cumbria. Murder. Inquiries requested for him at Tells and lodging houses. You're going to ask if we Dinara's.
Have you?
Oh, yes.
Anything?
Fine default, you'd taken it on his toes from Liverpool, that's all. Sergeant Beck had him out of bed. 3 o'clock this morning at Little Fisher's.
I think I'd rather be banged up in a cell in Walton than kept at Little Fisher's.
That's what he said.
Jean.
Sir.
Why I'm here is job for you.
I'd suppose so, sir, yes.
The crime squad.
Crime squad?
Has to be kept close, just you and I to know. That's the way they work. You know how they work, crime squad. Never know, do we? These days, who we've got on our ground.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
You have a reservation for me. Scott.
Yes, sir. Mr. Scott.
It's Commander Scott, actually. You see.
Commander Scott, sir. I'm sorry.
I'm to meet a lady. When she comes, I'll be in the bar.
There's dead ground. Below the house. It's all the way down. There's too much dead ground.
Not from where you'll be. Where you'll be, you'll see anyone who comes.
If I see him, he sees me.
Sure. Why not?
Up here? I'm naked.
Very nice, too.
I have got no cover.
Best cover there is. You being a woman. What did we say you'd be? Woman on your own.
Washed up, you said. Some love affair gone sour.
Such an affair as that, Annie. Sure, I wouldn't know.
The hell you wouldn't. Harry. Worth it. Is he? I mean, what we're doing here?
Get close enough and you'll know, for sure.
1 o'clock, then. You're to meet this chief inspector from the squad. After that...
What?
Oh, whatever he says. Only let me know if what he says worries you.
Think it might?
Well, you've worked with them. They'll have off their target villain, whoever he is, and be gone. You and I...
Have to live here.
Yeah, quite so. How's your husband?
Oh, well enough, sir, thank you.
That's all. That'll be easy for him. Now and then you're doing what you do, and him...
He's come to terms with what he does, sir.
Social work, not his line of country, I'd have thought.
You don't approve of what he does?
What he does. For the folk in the Department of Social Services who are running him, one day will bring him head on with your duty to the law, you know? And there'll be trouble.
Sir, the one I'm to meet, Detective Inspector...
Connor. His name's Connor.
He didn't say.
Well, you know him, do you? A cheerful sort of cove, I reckon. It's a good man to have on a run ashore. Flack happy, though. You watch him, do you hear?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Good morning.
I'm to meet Commander Scott. Has he arrived, you know?
Yes, he has. He's through there, waiting in the back.
Thank you.
Mrs. Newby.
Commander Scott?
I'd have known you for sure. Anywhere.
Really? Thank you. Well now, Commander, as we've never met, how would you have done that? Known me for sure, anywhere. Hmm?
Telephone? You didn't tell me there was no bloody telephone.
Otherwise, it's good.
So how do I get word?
I'll not be far away.
We may not come.
He'll come.
And how do you know?
The voices told me.
Your change, sir.
That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
My sympathy in your loss. A sad loss.
How was it that you knew?
Saw the obituary in the Telegraph.
It's kind of you to have telephoned.
Just wanted you to know how sorry I am. Chance to be hereabouts.
Did you now?
I have business interests, you see, in Liverpool.
Really?
Import, export, that sort of thing.
Oh, you're not still in the Navy, then?
Good Lord, no. Came ashore years ago, like your late husband. Rest in peace.
When was it that you knew Jack?
I was on the Ark.
The Ark.
The Ark Royal.
And so was he. Yes.
So when I saw in the Telegraph that Jack Newby, who'd served on Ark Royal...
And gone on to make his fortune in the motor trade?
Had slipped his cable. I just want you to know, if there's anything I can ever do, just say the word. Yes?
I'm sorry, but he never spoke of you.
It's an awfully big ship.
Well, not that I remember. But then you were an officer. Him just lower deck.
Even so, band of brothers, Ma'am, band of brothers.
Tell you what, Commander.
Ma'am.
Colette. You must call me Colette.
Colette.
Tell you what. He always said he'd hated the bloody Navy.
What is it?
I don't know. No. It's this place, maybe. What?
What?
11 o'clock from the top of the gully. Coming down off the skyline. You see him?
No. Yes.
Somebody we should know?
Wouldn't say so. Whoever he is, not one for us. Bit bloody rough he looks. He's come up the other side. In front of the dead tree, see?
He's eating. What the... It's a turnip. How the hell would he turn it raw?
Some poor bloody peasant, starving. Not one of Georgie Henschel's team for sure. Come on. We'll be late for the meet.
What about him?
What about him? If he ain't one of Georgie's team, not your business.
And for me, avocado and the estouffade de boeuf. And a bottle of Sancerre.
Thank you, sir.
You were saying, Commander.
Nigel.
Nigel. You were saying about what you do. Export and import?
Yes, well, don't want to talk shop, do we?
Are you good at it? What you do?
Yes. Oh, yes.
What exactly do you export and import?
Just now, I'm setting up an awfully good thing in Romania.
I'm going out. I'll be back about 3.
Where will you be?
I'll be back about 3. Superintendent Lake was asking about the one who butchered that girl in a cafe on the A6 express message.
Psycho, must be.
Mr. Lake was asking if we'd done all our lodging houses, hotels.
Yep.
Have we?
I don't see this one shacked up at the Hilton, do you? Which, anyway, we haven't got.
Yeah, but even so.
I'll take this out this afternoon, show it around a bit. Garages on the main road, that sort of place.
Ah, take Bentley too, if we can spare him.
We can always bloody well spare him.
God, I thought you were a burglar. What are you doing here?
Nothing.
You should be at work.
Well, so should you.
You said you were busy today.
I am.
Looks like it. You're up to something. In fact, I think you look guilty.
Look, rubbish. Look, I forgot something this morning. I just popped home for it.
What?
Don't be nosy, darling.
Now I know there's something fishy going on.
There's nothing fishy. Do you want something to eat?
No, I'm in a hurry. I've got to change.
Oh, are you going somewhere?
Someone to meet.
Who to meet?
A detective inspector from Crime Squad. They've got an operation on.
Who is this chap? Do I know him?
No.
Who's being mysterious now? Hey, I want to have a snack. Can I tempt you? Omelets. Look, do your quick omelette. Be ready in a couple of minutes.
What's that?
I make the best omelettes in the Northern Union. Famous for my omelettes. Won gold medals for them. I've got highly commended for my spaghetti bolognese. And I've got leather medals for my shepherd's pie. But my omelettes, cool. Something else. The world famous. Hey, so, for this assignation with this detective inspector, why don't you sample one of my culinary delights then, eh?
I'm lunching out today.
Oh, with this chap?
Don't be so nosy, darling.
What I do is I buy from a man I know in Bilbao, barbed wire,
Barbed wire.
and I ship it across to the Black Sea. Now, there's a man I know who works on the docks who helps me
He helps you.
for a small share in what profit I make when his uncle sells the barbed wire in Bucharest.
You mean you've got this bleeder on the bung?
Commission, he'd call it, for easing my barbed wire and such through the official channels.
Bent, is he?
Put like that, Mum, in so many words, as a fishhook.
He's bent, you pay.
Ah, and there, dear lady, just for now, is the rub. Lag archipelago. They all have to use barbed wire.
That gentleman with the lady. Seem to have seen him around. At the golf club, maybe. Or was it Rotary? You see, I've got the devil of a memory for faces. You wouldn't been on, would you? Who?
Oh, yes. Should I have the waiter tell him you're here?
No, no. Don't think he'd thank me for shoving me snout in between him and the lady, eh?
Scott.
Is that so?
Commander Scott. He's staying here.
Is he now? Commander Scott, do you say? And sure he's never the fella I took him for. Thanks.
Still the same old Harry. You say it, just you say it and I'll thump you.
I'll say it anyway. Been a long time.
Long time for you.
I heard you got married.
Yes? And you?
Not I.
Not my Harry?
Time was.
What?
Might have been just that.
Oh, come on. Pigs might fly.
Inspector now, is it?
As you were, years ago.
I'm now and ever shall be.
Why? You could have got on. Been any damn thing.
Do you see me inky-fingered in some office, pumping out summonses for riding bikes without lights? I like what I am, what I do.
What do you do?
Put down the ungodly.
And who among the ungodly do I have on my ground that you should put down?
Wait. Until my detective sergeant comes. Then I'll tell you.
Who is your sergeant?
One of the best in crime squad. Which is to say, best in the trade.
Some redneck thief taker, yes? Like you?
Remember when we were in Merthyr Tydfil that time?
Shut up, Harry.
Time of our lives, eh? Didn't it ever snow? There's a fellow over there. Fancy I've seen him somewhere. You know how it is.
Is he the one? Why you're here?
Lord, no. It's just that somewhere I've seen his face.
Like in sporting life?
Like in special notices in the Police Gazette.
And just by chance, he's here. And you're here.
That's the way of it.
You told me once, when I first went to CID.
Lovely you were, too. Like a wild flower in a forest, snorting with pigs.
You told me, in our trade, you said, there's no such thing as chance.
Cause and circumstances, all.
Your table's ready, sir.
Thank you.
The woman he's with, and who she is. Madam President of the Town's Women's Guild, she was. Husband owned garages all over, and he's dead. Not so long ago, it was in the papers.
That's interesting. Jean, this is Detective Sergeant Aspen. Annie Aspen, Jean Darbley. Inspector Darbley. Beg pardon, ladies. Annie, just going to telephone the office.
You're in charge of...
Hereabouts, yes.
Harry was saying you were with him once in CID.
Harry was saying, was he?
Can I get you, what, to drink?
We should wait for Detective Inspector Connor, don't you think?
Harry? Well, I know what he drinks. Can't do what we do and still be bloody regimental, as Harry would say.
I know what Harry would say. I've heard him say it. Tell me, Sergeant, why you're here.
Why we're here is for an operation called Mephisto. Operation Mephisto.
What Mephisto was about is forgery. Deutschmarks, French francs, US dollars. Tickets for the Irish sweep shouldn't be surprising.
What's it to do with me?
Where they're going to print the stuff is near ground.
Where?
Netherset Hay. Do you know it? It's a shooting box. Was a shooting box when there was gentry in the land, away up on the moor.
The man who owns it is him, George Henschel.
There now, is he? When?
Soon.
How do you know?
Secret and reliable source, which is to say...
His voices told him.
Georgie Henschel's recruited his team. The gear they need's been got. Treasury paper, cameras, photocopiers, inks. All the gear's been got. Any day now, he'll be moving in on you.
What do you want of me?
Only you need know. Not the Women's Institute. Not the Gaslight and Coke Company. Not the Chief Constable, yet. Not even your sergeant.
Why not my sergeant?
About Mephisto, he don't need to know. So you don't tell him. Or anyone. Georgie Henschel's by no means a pudding, do you see? And he's got a shake on. Crime squad sniffing at his heels. So?
He's not easy to get close to.
So up there on the moor by Netherset Hay, I've rented a cottage.
For his lady friend who is sweating out a divorce and wants to be alone.
You.
Did Jean tell you, Annie, when we were quite young, we were down in Merthyr Tydfil to give evidence at a committal, and it snowed. 3 days and 3 nights it snowed, and the devil away out of Merthyr Tydfil it was, unless you were a bloody St. Bernard. Not a lot to do in Merthyr Tydfil if you don't sing come rondo and don't play rugby. When Annie can tell us that Georgie's team's at Netherset Hay, I'll move my boys in with her and we'll watch them round the clock. Give them time to print notes enough to torpedo the economy of Europe, and then go in mob-handed and feel their collars. But we have a problem.
What?
Where Annie will be, no telephoning. So, no way she can get word out. Only to you. Not got to feel Georgie's collar till he's got his paws in the honeypot, do you see? And then, bingo.
Radio?
Later, yes. When we've got men on the ground. But for now...
Anyway, up there, who would I talk to? I mean, who's in range?
Georgie'd be listening for sure.
Every day until he comes, I'll meet you. Where? In town, not at your station in case I'm watched.
Up there. If Georgie sees so much as a navvy leaning on a shovel, he'll reckon him crime squad and take it on his toes.
What if he comes tonight?
I doubt Georgie will come tonight.
Your voices?
Don't tell me so. No.
Till tomorrow, then?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry.
You.
Thank you.
Our friend. Sure, I've seen his face. If I were you, I'd have words with CRO. Check him out.
I'd need a name.
Try him with Scott. Commander Scott.
Your voices told you, did they?
Nope. She did.
Listen, Nigel. I'm a businesswoman. Never just Jack's wife, you know. It was me that made him. I was selling Ford Pops off a bomb site in Wallasey when I was 16 years old. I'm a businesswoman.
Quite so.
You need cash.
To maintain my source of commercial intelligence in the Balkans.
So keep your customs geezer on the bung. Yes, yes, yes. How much?
Sterling, say 1,000 or so.
I'll think about it. I'll let you know tomorrow. I've got to go. So sorry. You're washed up, aren't you? On the beach.
Truth to tell, yes.
How would you like to come in with me?
To do what?
Merchandising?
I wouldn't want you to think that I'd force my acquaintance on you.
What, so as to put the bite on me for 1,000 quid?
Just wanted to say how sorry I was about Jack.
Who was with you in the Ark Royal?
A lot of water passed under the keel since then.
I'll tell you what, about Jack. When he conned me into marrying him, do you know what I was? I was Miss Silversands, 1960. I could have been a model, a top model. I could have married anybody.
Of course you could.
But I didn't. I married into the motor trade, didn't I? Flogged 4 pops off a bomb site in bleeding Wallasey.
He's got a black leather jacket and dirty jeans, and he looks something like that.
They all look like that. Well, if you do see out like him, on the road maybe, give us a ring, eh? 999.
I will, aye.
And I'll tell you what, mister, what he did to that lass, I tell you, he's psycho, crazy.
Tattooed left forearm, fouled anchor, and what? Death before dishonour. Last released from prison April 79. Not wanted. Say again. Not wanted or suspected. Any entry you've got, that's his photograph. It's going back a bit. Case number? 54. I'll see if I have it. Oh, yes, I have him. As the Reverend Nigel Finch Hatton. Made acquaintance of widow, said he had known her late husband. Ambrose Porter, CRO 52. Not wanted, you say, or suspected? Well, no. I suspect him. I'll call you, yeah? Mrs. Newby, this is the police, Inspector Darbley. You won't know me, but we met once at the Townswomen's Guild.
After you've had your tea, Bentley, and before the pubs turn out, void houses.
Sarge?
Check the void houses. There's not a lot.
Oh, they're a bit spread out, aren't they, Sarge?
Come on, lad, where's your enthusiasm? Enthuse! We're servants of the public, especially those that are away on holiday enjoying themselves. Now, that one has been screwed a few times. That one, fellow who lives there, he's overseas, in Saudi, where, if you ask me, the Arabs have got the right idea about liberating women and don't. While our ratepayer's in Saudi, down to us to make sure his house ain't been screwed, yes? So after you've taken the ladies the tea, go and have a shufty.
Right, Sarge.
We met before, you said, at the Townswomen's Guild.
Yes.
Somewhere since, though, I think. Like today?
Yes.
Which is why you want to see me.
It's good of you to have come, Mrs. Newby. Milk?
Thank you. What then?
You were with a gentleman for lunch.
Seemed to me so were you.
The one I was with, known him for years. And you? What about the one who was with you?
Why?
My job, the best I can, is to stop folk getting hurt.
Me or him?
You.
Not me, love. Listen, I was selling... What's he done?
Your husband died not so long ago. It was in the papers.
Because he was something big in the motor trade, yeah.
And you carry on the business, do you?
What do you reckon is I'm easy?
Easy?
Easy meat for any con artist who might have read in the newspapers that my ever-loving husband, who had been a matelot on the Ark Royal, had popped his clogs, right?
Is that what he did, Mr. Scott?
Oh, Commander Scott, if you please. Royal Navy retired.
Asked you for money, did he?
No. No, I couldn't say that he asked, not in so many words, asked. And whatever his name is...
Not what he told you?
I've no complaint.
He tried to deceive you, though. Yeah? Said he'd known your husband. That's what he always does.
I've told you, Inspector. I've no complaint. And if I've no complaint, what have you got?
Cause to suspect. Damn good cause to think.
Not evidence, though, to put him in court. Whatever was between him and me is our business, you know? Whatever you've cause to think.
Even so, I'll talk to him.
Tell him then from me he owes me. Tell him from me tomorrow, 9 o'clock.
What?
Start work.
For you?
Got to keep him off the streets, haven't we, love?
Mrs. Newby?
Yeah.
Why?
I told you he owes me.
What, for not shopping him? It's got to be more than that, more than just that.
You're married.
Yes.
Well, then you should know. There are times when we can't do without someone. Anyone.
Head and cue.
Hello, Georgie. It's not bad, is it? Come on, let's get the stuff inside. Got everything, no bother.
Yeah. Never mind.
Weird.
Better see you brought a change of underwear.
All right. Some scotch on the sidewalk. Leave the car here. All right.
Could I have my key, please?
Certainly, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, there's a lady waiting to see you.
Oh, thank you. Ah. I thought you'd be...
Mrs. Newby.
someone else.
Ah, but then we quite often are not who we seem.
Ma'am?
Police.
Good Lord. Lady Rosa, you? Who'd have thought? Inspector.
Mr. Porter, I presume.
Not me, ma'am. Some other fellow must be.
Harry?
Can I get you a drink?
Do sit down, Mr. Porter,
It's Scott, actually. Commander Scott.
if you say so. Although I'd love to have met you when you were the Reverend Nigel Finch Hatton.
Who, me?
Made acquaintance of recently bereaved widow. Told her while serving as chaplain in the Royal Air Force had known her late husband. Obtained £300 for mission to women in Battersea. What mission to women in Battersea was that?
Ah, that'd be some scoundrel who looks like me.
Must happen quite a lot, you being taken for this scoundrel who looks like you.
Yes. All the time.
Show me your arm.
I'd rather not.
Threadbare, are you? You should have some good woman to look after you.
Death before dishonor. Nicked, then, am I?
What for?
False pretenses, attempted false pretenses.
Went out with bicycle clips, false pretenses. What they call it now is criminal deception.
Whatever learned counsel may choose to call it in the indictment, what it means is Porter's in the slammer.
You reckon?
Colette, was it? Who told you?
Who?
Colette. Miss Silversands, 1960. Mrs. Newby.
Mavis. Her name's Mavis.
Mavis. Well, as you say, we're none of us always what we seem.
And as you ask, what Mavis says is, she has no complaints.
No?
Good night, Mr. Porter.
Good night indeed, ma'am.
Oh, Mr. Porter.
Ma'am?
Mrs. Newby said to say you owe her. Said to say 9 o'clock in the morning.
She's appointing me to a post on her firm.
Is she now?
Merchandising.
I tell you what, Mr. Porter. If I was to hear the word, and I surely would, that you were so much as thinking of hooking your claws into some other poor defenceless widow on my ground...
The, slammer?
Oh, yes. And I'll throw away the key. Let's just sit down. Just talk.
I want to sit down now, okay? Just sitting. Okay. Okay. You are hungry, aren't you? What do you want? I've got some chicken. This is ridiculous. I can't sit here.
You're all right, love. All right. All right.
Fellow who rented you this place, when he gets back from Saudi Arabia, not going to be very happy about these noisy parties, is he?
You didn't tell me, Sergeant Beck. That gallant lad of yours.
Bentley?
Why he came?
He wouldn't have, if I'd known Crime Squad had an operations on.
No need, was there? For you to have been told?
If I'd known your sergeant was here, I'd have told him to stay clear. And he would have. And your lass would have...
Yes?
It was just luck, that's all. But he should have come when he did.
Luck? No such thing as luck. Cause and circumstance.
What I came to tell you is, we've got him.
Bentley?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Becker.
After fashion, yes.
Good girl.
The dogs got him. Ran him into the ground. Gone, are they?
Taking it on their toes to the Argentine by now. Red East West Hartlepool even. Should have seen the ones who got away.
It's been serviced by us from you.
From you?
Yes. It's only had one previous owner, who was known to us personally. He was the local vicar.
I see.
And
nice.
he well maintained the vehicle, as you can see.
Nice vinyl top. Now, in my trade, I'm a builder, and I tow a trailer, so it's got to be very good on the suspension.
Oh, you'll have no problem towing
Sure.
with this, sir.
Because I've heard this tale before, you know.
Well, the suspension's extremely good, sir.
Seems like sure, because they all say that, you know.
The bodywork in very good condition.
It looks all right.
Well sprung.
It looks quite stable enough. What about the interior? I've got 2 kids and a wife.
Oh, there's plenty of room inside, sir. Fully automatic.
Oh, it is auto. What about the petrol?
Oh, the
What's
petrol
the mileage per
consumption?
gallon?
Oh, I think you'll probably get about 25 out of it in town, sir.
25?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is Blueberry Hank the Gunslinger. Do you read me on the ether, fella? 10-10, let's do it again.
I copy you, Blueberry Hank. What's the bus for?
Just chucks him, your old cowboy. Sure is a mighty fine and dandy day up in these here hills. How's the smoking hardly milk?
Stuff off, Jabberjaws. I'm working.
That'll be the day.
I see one old smoky bear laying rubber and heading for the Addison Turnpike. Don't let him spook you, kid.
Got your rifle, Chief?
Ain't your wagon? Got the documents? How long are you stopping, Mr. Tully?
We only just pulled in.
When are you pulling out?
It's free land.
County Highways Department, Mr. Tully, you know that.
Just a couple of days, Chief. We ain't hurting no one.
Who's travelling with you?
Just Addy and his missus.
Addy?
My brother Adolphus Tully.
Oh, yeah. And that's all, is it?
My uncle Ignatius and his lads is coming.
A family meeting?
Sort of a get-together.
Or a welcoming party? When's he expected?
Any day now.
I see. So, how many of you will there be, then?
Me and Addy, Ignatius, me cousins, about 7.
And wives and dogs and kids?
Weren't counting them.
That'll be too many, Mr. Tully. Uncle Ignatius will have to go somewhere else.
I'll tell him.
See that you do. All right, 2 days, no longer.
Thanks, Chief.
And remember, no problems.
Sure.
What's he want?
No trouble. Not for 2 days.
The camp by Red Tile Farm, Dick Poston's place. He's worried about his Buff Orpingtons.
All gypsies are thieves, is that it?
The prize birds, he says, ma'am.
You want me to station a man in the hen coop until they move on?
No.
Well, that's good. Because we do have some serious crime in the area. Gypsies have the same rights as anyone else, including the right to be considered innocent until found guilty, Joseph.
Oh, Sarge. Sorry, didn't know you were here.
Oh, that's okay, son. I'll have this one.
Right, I'll make another.
Remember Thomas Tully?
Tully? That rings a bell. Gypsy, wasn't he? Killed somebody.
Billy Driscoll.
That's it. In a prize fight. Bare knuckle job. Billy got a hammer in.
And Tully got 5 for manslaughter.
I remember. And the Driscolls came down the stations.
Tully's coming out.
How do you know?
His brothers have come to meet him, and the rest of the tribe's on the way.
Well, that's how gypsies are. Clannish.
No, I think there's more to it than that. They could have got a lot nearer Strangeways than this patch. The camp by Red Tile Farm.
Oh, no, it near Atherton.
Oh, near the Driscoll's quarry and all.
Have you told Madam about this?
Not yet.
Why not?
She'll expect us to stop them, won't she?
Big in the middle. Appropriate.
I reckon they deserve each other.
What? You mean let them get on with it and then pick up the bits afterwards? She'll not stand for that.
I know.
Unless you're more scared of them than you are of the lady, I think you got to tell her. We might get some help from division.
I wish I were going on my holidays. I fancy 2 weeks in Salonica.
Howdy, ma'am. Is the ramrod round the spread anywhere?
If you mean Wally's in the back.
Sure do. Got a bone to pick with that dude.
He's with a customer.
Oh, he's in the back, eh? Can't say I've done that stuff myself.
A lot of folks seem to like it.
Waste of money. It's not even the real thing, is it? Just play acting.
So is pretending to be cowboys.
Yellow. Sexy. Oh, Wally. Hello, Ronnie. Listen, mate, about that Bernie you sold me.
I'm listening.
Blaming things useless.
You what? He's got a guarantee, the amplifier. Brand new.
I'm on the top of Lufford today. Furthest I got were a buddy on the M6. 10 miles from the top of the hill. I tell you, it's useless.
Yeah, well, it's your aerial. You want to fit a new twig?
What he needs is a new rig, never mind anything else.
Yeah, she's right there, son. Everybody's changing to FM now.
What about the gear I got?
Oh, it's out of date. Junk it.
Chunky, you gotta be kidding. I paid hundreds for that lot.
Cost you a lot more if the law catches you. Do you have to have that on?
You what? I'll tell you what I'll do, Will. I'll drive out to town and keep on calling back. See how far I get before the signal starts.
All right. Hey, look at that. 52 when he done that, old Doc Holliday. And he had stomach ulcers.
Inspector Darby to Hartley.
Red Escort, unregistered. Here are the last 3 numbers. I couldn't see the rest. Get on to division and ask them to find out on the PNC if there are any local owners that might fit.
Right, Mum. Serious crime, Mum?
An unlicensed sea beer interfering with police transmissions.
Not Blueberry Hank, by any chance?
Oh, you've heard him too.
Loud and clear, so have the ambulance service. I've reported to British Telecom. They've got some engineers trying to trace him.
Well, maybe we'll find him first. What's the Chinese angel, by the way?
A policewoman, I believe, ma'am.
Ah, thought so.
Also, I understand, sometimes known as a honey bear.
How many of them?
2 wagons.
You sure they're Tully's, Jim?
Yeah, I've seen them before. Tully's right enough.
Tom must be coming out.
Reckon so, Jack.
It's been a hard time waiting, Jim. It's 3 years and 8 months since he killed our Billy.
Got your chance now, Jack.
By God, I have. Tell the boys, Jim. Tell them the Tullys are here.
Did you hear that? Tully is being released in the morning.
I thought so.
Why didn't you tell me about this earlier, Joseph?
I wasn't sure, ma'am. Then one of the lads spotted 3 more vans parked by Dewsbury Woods.
And why do you feel that there's going to be trouble between these gypsies and the Driscolls?
Because they have their own rules. They like to settle things in their own way, and this hasn't been settled yet.
Tully's served his sentence, that should be it.
Oh, no, ma'am, not unless he's changed.
Was there bad blood between these 2 families before the fight?
I don't think so.
Then what were the 2 of them fighting about? They must have had some reason.
Well, they wanted to find out who was the better man. Billy fancied his chances, so he challenged Tully.
Oh, so it was a sporting contest?
I suppose that's how they'd see it. It's illegal, though.
And Billy Driscoll was killed?
Died next day, brain hemorrhage.
An accident, though? I mean, if it had been an ordinary boxing match, it would have been called an accident.
Yes.
Well, that brings me back to my point. What makes you think there'll be trouble when Tully comes out of prison? It's all over.
No, ma'am, not for them. The Driscolls say that Tully didn't fight fair, that he hit Billy when he was down. And from what I can gather, the gypsies think that it was the Driscolls that shot Tully.
I see. And did they?
Shot him? I don't know. But they think he did, and that's against their rules.
It might be, but it doesn't mean... You've no real evidence for any of this, have you, Joseph? What is it? Just a funny feeling in your left elbow?
George Parrish thinks the same as me. It doesn't take 7 fellas to meet Tully out of prison.
No, that's true. All the same, it's not against the law. I mean, we can hardly invoke the Riot Act at this stage, you know.
I just thought I should tell you, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Joseph. I'm glad you did. Joseph?
Yes, ma'am.
Have Tully's file sent through, would you?
Thomas Tully, aged 45. 2 convictions in the 60s, Brighton and Hull, receiving stolen lead. One at Sheffield, 1970, grievous bodily harm. 2 appearances at Wetherby Magistrates, actual bodily harm dismissed, lack of evidence. And Preston Crown Court, 5 years for the manslaughter of William Driscoll.
Well, apart from the 2 Wetherby cases that were dismissed, he managed to keep out of trouble for 8 years.
Wetherby's where the gypsies meet for the horse fair.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, that's why the jobs weren't proved. They won't talk to the police.
So you don't allow him the benefit of the doubt?
There'll be 100 others no one's ever heard of. Tully's a bad one.
Yeah, this last case, this manslaughter, didn't you say that Billy Driscoll challenged him?
So we understand.
So it was just Tully's bad luck that Driscoll was killed. It wasn't intentional.
Suppose you could see it that way.
I'll tell you what I see. I see a load of stupid men spoiling for a fight. I'm not going to have it. It's time someone talked some sense into them. Now, George, you know the Driscolls, I believe.
We've had most of them in here one time or another.
Who'd you say was the ringleader?
Old Jack, Billy's dad. He runs the quarry and the family. Iron Jack, they used to call him.
Iron Jack?
In his fighting days, that was.
You mean that Billy's father also went in for this illegal prize fighting?
Before my time, of course, but he was quite famous. In his prime, they reckon he could beat any man in England.
Right. I shall talk to him.
You've grown, haven't you, eh? Hey, hello, sunshine. What's your name?
Sydney John.
Sydney John. Hey, up. You're looking smashing. Is that yours, kid? How you doing, eh? You're looking well, kid. Hello, Doc. Hey, what's your name? Patty, is it? Hey there, Grand.
Hello, Tom.
Silly.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, kid. Hey, come on. I'll see you later, yeah? See you, Tom. You've been busy, yeah?
When was this to?
A month ago. She asked me to show it.
She's grown.
Well, 16 now, Tom.
How is she, Pearl?
Oh, she's good as gold. She's happy with the family, too. Good girl as well, needlework, all that.
Oh, Jessie taught her that. She missed Jessie.
Well, she did. But she's got over it now. I mean, it's been a year since.
Hey. She's all right, isn't she?
Why did they let you come to the funeral, Tom?
With 2 screws.
But they should have let you come. Your own wife.
Produce from Jamaica, Guyana, and Barbados.
Hey?
I'll answer it inside.
Go on, hear that, Selena?
Yeah, you know, no newspapers and that. I read quite well now. I'll save our Pale doing it for me.
Jessie was asking for you at the end, Tom. Weren't she, Goss?
Why don't you shut up?
The writing's hard.
Yeah, I was never very good at the writing. Oh, Tom, here's to you, boy.
Cheers.
The Gypsy Champion. There's a few blokes been saying they can do you since you've been inside.
Oh, yeah, who?
Cassius Smith, for one.
I always was a blowout.
They'll change their fiddles once they know you're out. You're looking good, Tom.
No, they let you exercise.
How was it?
I'll not go back, Gus. I taught myself first.
I'm looking for Mr. Driscoll.
That's Mr. Driscoll.
Mr. Driscoll,
What's up, lass?
can I have a word?
If they must.
I'm Inspector Darbley, Hartley Police.
Are you wed, Inspector?
Yes, I am.
Better at home having bairns and that job.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Driscoll. Now, shall we talk about the Tullys?
Not to talk about. Thieving idle trash.
The lad who died after challenging Tom Tully to a fight a few years back.
Oh, Billy.
What happened?
Tully tripped him and put the elbow in. You were giving the gypsy a right pasting till then.
How old was he, Mr. Driscoll?
20. Best a little, Billy.
And you encouraged him into this prize fighting?
Never needed encouraging. You were born in, lad.
Why didn't he join one of the local clubs? There are several good amateur boxing clubs round here.
Dancing boys. No, Billy were like me. Beat any man on cobbles.
Yes, I know. Bread on ale on black pudding.
Best state our business, Inspector.
When young men have fathers they admire, they often try to copy them. Has it occurred to you, Mr. Driscoll, that Billy might be alive today if you hadn't encouraged him? Just think about it, that's all. And remember, if there is trouble between your family and the gypsies, I shall hold you responsible. Good day.
You know, Tom, there's still nobody as good as you. I've seen some of them. Young lads. Rubbish.
I'm getting on, Gus.
You could do any of them. 3 rounds top whack.
I wanted to come to the funeral. They'd have let me. My good face. Coming out. And then having to go back in the neck for another year. I couldn't do it.
Drink up, eh?
I told myself Jessie'd understand it. Hey, she would have done, wouldn't she, Gus?
I'll tell you what I think. I think we owe the Driscolls a right roasting for what they did to you, boy.
Giving you 10-2, good buddy. What's your handle? Hello, Blueberry Hank. Not Big Fox trucking out of Bolton.
Not again.
Hey, last week I copied a buddy called Little Fox from Bolton. Oh, my brother. No kidding. He's going out to read you, Blueberry Hank. Okay, Big Fox. Nice trip.
Inspector Darby Hartley.
Yes, ma'am, Sergeant Beck here.
I'm on my way to Red Tile Farm now, Sergeant. I'm going to have a word with the Tullys.
Ronald Phillips. Hey? Chap with the red escort. Index number Inspector Darby gave me. 16 No Mill Lane, Sarge.
Then get to him. Man's a menace. What are you waiting for?
I've been down to the house. There's no one there.
No, he's too busy driving round the county, jamming official transmissions.
Now, this is a killer bloke.
That's what I said. Didn't I say that, Gus?
Why don't you shut it?
Them Driscolls got heads like rocks, Tom. Oh, Billy's hadn't, had he?
Look, Tommy, we owed them, don't we? They put you away, didn't they, boy? All them years taken out of your life. I'll never get them back, you know.
I'm on parole.
So?
If anybody gets killed or head bad, I go straight back inside. And you. Well, all of us.
You lost your bottle, Tom.
I'm just saying we don't need them. If it's down to a scrap, well, I'll stick to these. Like I've always done.
Tom, they know we're here. They know why we're here. Them Driscolls aren't going to dance around waving their jukes, believe me.
They'll have knives, axes, God knows what.
Of course they will. Have to protect ourselves, son.
Hey, there's a copper. It's a woman. She's coming over.
Morning. Is Mr. Tully here? Mr. Thomas Tully?
What do you want? Let her in.
Thank you. Which of you is...
I'm Tom Tully. These are my brothers.
I'd like a word with you, Mr. Tully. I'm Inspector Darbley.
Yeah. Well, go on.
Can we talk in private?
Go on, Jello.
Don't let her touch your chocolate drops, Tom.
I gather you came out of strange ways this morning, Mr. Tully.
Yeah.
You'll be anxious to get back to Epsom, no doubt.
Epsom.
That is your base, I believe. You have a business there.
I did have.
Let's put it this way, you have no business here. So we in the local police would like you to leave quietly without causing any trouble.
What would you think
Now,
caused
come
any
on,
trouble?
Mr. Tully, we're not stupid. I've warned the Driscolls, and now I'm warning you.
Well, I'll leave Hartley when I'm ready to leave.
I think you should go today. That's my advice to you.
You'd say I was yellow.
If there's trouble, you'll go straight back into prison. You know that.
Look, Miss. You wouldn't understand. You're a woman.
I'm trying to.
Well, the last thing I want right now is more Nick. You'll never get me back in there.
They will if there's trouble. Any breach of the peace and you'll be back inside. That's why I'm advising you to leave.
I'm not running.
You're a foolish man, Mr. Tully.
Listen, miss. Jack Driscoll knows where to find me. They say he wants me. The way I see it, it's up to him.
They also say that you want him.
Did once, maybe. He could ask me.
You sure of that, are you?
Oh, yeah. He shot me. Went around telling everybody how he put me away. If I got out then, I'd have killed him.
And now?
I could take him or leave him. I understand better now.
Understand what?
What it's like to lose somebody.
How do you get on talking to the gypsies?
I'm not sure. I think I feel quite sorry for Tully, though.
How's that?
He's being forced into a position he can't back out of. He doesn't want to fight, but they all expect him.
What about Driscoll?
A bitter old man. He hasn't got much time for policewomen, either.
He hasn't much time for the police, full stop.
No. That's why it seems out of character for him to have turned informer, even though it was his son.
Always heard it was, Jack.
Yes, everyone's heard it. Did you know the fight was broken up?
Yes, ma'am. One of our patrols happened on it.
They didn't happen on it, Joseph. I've just been talking to headquarters. They received an anonymous tip-off. A woman.
I never heard the details, ma'am.
Tell me, Joseph, is there much money wagered at these fights?
Yeah, quite a bit, especially if it's gypsies. They're gambling mad.
So there'd be a bookie there, offering odds and so on?
Oh, there'd have to be. Otherwise, there'd be more blood spilt outside the ring than in it.
Thank you, Joseph. I shall be about an hour.
Ronald Phillips.
Yeah?
We have reason to believe you've been operating an unlicensed wireless transmitter from this vehicle.
Me? Are you kidding?
Contrary to the Wireless Telegraphy Act. Would you like to come with me, sir?
Where?
The Nick.
You had me staked out, didn't you?
I was after you. Aye.
Police persecution, that is. Amnesty International are about that.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Phillips?
You really want to know?
If you've no objection.
Gyro City.
Figures.
Well, not my fault, mate. I were a paint sprayer when there was something to spray.
Can we go now?
Look at that, coming out in handfuls. Just put me coat on.
Not necessary.
Well, I want to look nice.
Oh, don't tell me. You were voted second best dressed man, more commodity camp 1970.
I bet you have me in stitches down at the Nick, don't you?
Mr. Phillips, you look nice. Very nice. Let's go.
Can I go in my car?
Hey.
Well, I don't want to be seen driving through town with you, do I?
I tell you what, we can take the scenic route if you like.
No, we'll take your car.
Right, it's down the road. Mr. Phillips.
What?
Watch out. There's a thief about.
Huh?
Crime prevention.
Yes, Inspector.
Sergeant Norris?
Ex-Sergeant, no? How can I help you? Not a bereavement, I trust.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, but how on earth did you get into this?
Undertaking. Years ago, when I was a young copper, I was on point duty. Remember it clearly. The funeral cortege went past in as many minutes. Made an impression. I thought, well, death is something you can always rely on. A very steady business. So from that moment, I knew what I was going to do when I left the force.
You mean that for 20 years you've looked forward to being an undertaker?
Oh, I've looked forward to having my own business. It's going very well.
I'm glad to hear it.
Well, in the police, you meet a lot of useful contacts.
Yes, I suppose. Sergeant, Mr. Norris, my name's Jean Darbley and I'm in charge of the Hartley station.
Oh, I know it well. I was attached there once for a brief while.
Well, some 3 years ago, just over, you came into our ground. There was a bare-knuckle prize fight.
Oh, aye, the gypsies. Yes, I remember. It was just before I left the job.
What exactly happened that day? The records are rather skimpy and it might be important.
Well, I was on patrol with my driver, Dave Franklin, and we had this call on the radio. A fight at the back of some old mill.
Langley Mill.
That's right. We were the nearest car, I think. Anyway, we were the first there. Crowd vanished the minute they saw us.
Big crowd, was it?
Oh, for a field in the middle of nowhere. 200 or 300 people. They legged it the minute we came over the hill. Looked like a lot of ants. Or one of those Lowry pictures.
And did you not catch anyone?
No. I said to Dave we should try and bag the principals, the boxes. We got one, Driscoll, but you know about him. He was groggy and bleeding pretty badly. I know the cars were coming in by then, so I thought it best to get him to hospital. Died next day, poor lad.
Did you say anything when you picked him up?
Oh, no, not much that I remember. Something about settling a bet, something like that.
And they all ran, you said. Did they not have cars?
Oh, yes, there were cars all over the field. It was like a race meeting.
I see. And the other boxer, Tully, got away?
Oh, the CID picked him up the next day or the day after.
Did you not have to identify him or anything?
No, it wasn't necessary. He admitted it all straight off.
I see. Well, thank you.
Is that all?
Yes. I just wanted to get the complete picture. I won't keep you from your customers.
Oh, they're very patient.
What the hell's going on?
Just practicing, Jack.
You mad beggar. If you can't fight like a man, I don't need you.
Without me, there'll only be 5 of you. Think on that, Jack.
We'll not be needing ruddy bombs. Now get that jelly back in store and bring me key.
Yes. Fight like a man. What a stupid old Wally.
Ronald Phillips, ma'am, alias Blueberry Hank.
Thank you, Constable. Sit down.
What stand?
As you wish. It's not an offence for which you can be arrested, you know.
What then?
Operating an unlicensed radio transmitter.
So, I'm not under arrest.
However, it is an indictable offence, punishable by a fine of up to £400 and 3 months in prison for each occasion it can be proved that you operated the equipment.
Aye. But you've got to prove it, ain't you?
I think we can prove at least 4 occasions. That's £1,600 and a year in prison, Mr. Phillips.
Ruddy Nora.
It depends how British Telecom view the offence. We take it seriously, because in the last few days you have interfered not only with our own transmissions, but also with those of the ambulance and fire services. This could easily have caused loss of life. Am I making you feel better, Mr. Phillips?
I've been breaking for years. I've never had any trouble before. With that burner I got off Wally Gator.
Burner?
Amplifier. I said it was no good, but he wouldn't take it back.
How many years have you been using this equipment?
I'm not saying out. I want a mouthpiece.
No, don't worry. This is off the record.
"5 years. I was the first bloke to get rigged up round these parts. That's how I knew about the amplifier.
Did Wally Cater not have one before you?
Oh, Wally, no. A year before he got a rig. In fact, I helped him fit his gear.
Was this when he was still running the pub?
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
I see. Well, that's all. Thank you for being so frank, Mr. Phillips.
In and go.
You'll be notified if British Telecom decide to prosecute, and you'll want to surrender your equipment in the meantime, I expect.
Will I?
They might view it more sympathetically if they knew you'd done it voluntarily.
George.
Hello.
I'm holding 4 lads over from the late shift and I'm staying on myself.
You think it'll be tonight?
Yeah, it's got to be. Driscoll's are still at the quarry, but there's no work going on.
Oh, we've got someone out there then.
Sandy's been out there since 3. Must be sick of that road being out.
Wally Cater used to run the Wagtail.
Yes, ma'am.
I seem to remember we did him for allowing betting on the premises.
Yeah, I'm for allowing drinking after hours. I'm for showing blue films in his back room. He lost his licence.
He runs an electrical shop in Kendall Street now. Still got a mucky back room, they say.
It's the betting I'm interested in. How do you fancy me as a bookie, Joseph?
I'm not quite with you, ma'am.
At the fight, you said there'd be a bookie there, taking bets.
Yeah, it could be. Well, it could well be. I know he used to take the bets on cockfights round here till we made things too hot for him.
Oh, Wally was into anything like that. I'll be my partner.
I'll go. It could be someone sensible. Someone to see you, Wally.
Oh. Hi there, Sheriff.
He's playing cowboys tonight.
The old Six-Gun Society is having a shootout tonight in Bolton.
I see. Well, then I hope this won't take too long, Mr. Cater. Do you remember a fight at Langley Mill between Billy Driscoll and a gypsy named Tully?
I heard tell about it.
I think you were there, Mr. Cater. I think you were taking bets that day.
Can't really remember. A long, long time ago.
Don't play games, Mr. Cater. I can easily find out, but I'm trying to save time. You were taking bets, weren't you?
What if it was? Am I being done?
No, you're not being done. Just answer the question, please.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I ran the book.
How much money was laid?
4 grand. Why do you want to know? You're right in history.
And most of that money was on Tully, wasn't it?
Not at first. All the local lads were back in Driscoll. Well, it was fancy, wasn't it? I had him at 2-1 on. None of us had ever seen Tully.
Then what happened?
There was no way that Driscoll was going to take that gorilla.
I see. So you went to your car, to your CB radio, and you called your wife at the pub. He asked you to ring the police and get the fight stopped. Isn't that right?
Yes, he said if the fight was stopped, the bets would be called off.
Did it clean me out? I'd have been skinned.
It's a pity he didn't manage to get the fight stopped a bit earlier, before Billy got hurt.
How is he?
Gus, I tell you, he's lost his ball. All that bull about what he were going to do when he come out. Driscoll's will be laughing. Hello.
I wonder what she wants.
Evening. Is your brother in?
I think she fancies him.
So it doesn't matter. Jack Driscoll grassed me.
I don't think he did. In fact, I know he didn't.
He told everybody he did.
Of course. Can't you see why? He's up in that quarry waiting for you, hoping you'll come. That's what he wants.
A fight?
It's his conscience. He caused Billy's death.
No, I don't know.
I don't think he wants revenge. It's some kind of penance. They can only achieve it this way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think so. If it wasn't Jack Driscoll who grassed me...
Does it matter? Mr. Tully, there were over 200 people there that day. How long do you think it would have taken CID to have found out who Billy was fighting?
If they're not here by sundown, we'll go up there.
Hey, Jack.
I'll be damned. Stay back.
Not on your own.
If that's the way he wants it.
I've come to tell you, you're pulling out.
You gutless cow son, Tully. You brought protection, I see.
Some protection, eh? 7 stone hanging wet.
I want to kill you.
Oh, no.
You yellow, stinking gypsy.
I'm sorry about you, boy. I'll not fight again.
Tully! You should. You're good at game.
Never as good as you, Jack!
Never as good as you.
Sorry, Billy boy. Sorry.
Well, how does he get 2 hours out of that?
Travelling there, travelling back.
Excuse me, Mom. I've just seen the gypsies leave. They gave me this for you.
For me?
Buff or Bintons, would you say, ma'am?
It's difficult to tell, isn't it?
Would you like me to dispose of them for you?
No, Teresa. Put them in my office, please.
Mom?
I never look a gift hen in the mouth. Come in.
Did you get the message from Mr. Perry, ma'am?
Oh, yes, thank you, Joe. Did he say what he wanted?
Just that he wanted to catch you before tomorrow. Got the impression it was something personal.
I've tried his office, but he was out. Oh, well, if it's important, he'll find me.
He probably wanted to wish you luck with the interview. That's tomorrow, isn't it? You don't exactly sound as though you're bursting with enthusiasm.
I'm not sure, Joe. Do you think I'm doing the right thing?
Yes, I'm certain you are, ma'am.
Promotion isn't everything. Doesn't have a built-in guarantee of happiness.
I've known a few who've been pretty miserable through not getting it.
And some who are still miserable after they've got it.
Chief Inspector in charge of the Juvenile Bureau. It has a certain ring to it. You should grab it with both hands, ma'am.
It hasn't been offered to me yet, Joe. I'm only on a short list.
It's yours for the taking. There's no competition worth speaking of.
You're doing wonders for my ego, Joe. I just hope the interview board's equally prejudiced.
Who's on the board, ma'am?
One of the ACCs, probably Harry Mountjoy. Alex Maxwell, Chief Super Personnel. And Jim Catley, Chief Super Community Relations. He also covers the Juvenile Bureau, of course.
Catley. He's the young one that transferred into us, isn't he?
That's right, last year.
Bit of an unknown quantity, then.
Well, I met him at a couple of social do's. He seemed a reasonable sort. Whereas Alex Maxwell...
Well, he's one of the old school, ma'am.
Exactly. One of the old school. He's always very charming to my face, but so far as the job's concerned...
Any thoughts on this board tomorrow?
Without anticipating the interview, I've got my own favourite, yes.
My lad James Wood, you're absolutely right. He's a very good worker.
No, Wood's my second choice, actually. My preference is for Longton.
Kate Longton? Oh, if you go for her, you won't get my vote. You don't want a woman head of bureau, surely.
Why ever not? Just because she's a woman doesn't mean she's incompetent, does it?
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong, Jim. I'm not anti them all. No, some of them are probably very good. But I haven't met one yet who could handle the supervision of men.
With all due respect, ma'am, just look at the opposition. Henry Rowlandson from Wilberley. He's got 100 years' service. He's carved himself a little niche there that they couldn't blast him out of with dynamite. There's no way he'd take a job at headquarters. Albert Trails, traffic. Constable, sergeant, inspector. What he knows about juveniles you could put on the back of a postage stamp. He was only going along to make up the numbers, so there you are.
Not quite, Joe. There's James Wood.
He's headquarters, isn't he?
Yeah, personnel department, actually. His boss is Alex Maxwell, so perhaps it's not as clear-cut as you think. No, between you and me, Joe, if I were totally honest, I'm not sure if I want that job if it's offered.
It's the next step on the ladder.
Where to?
Higher things.
My head says go for it, but my heart isn't so sure. A move to headquarters, selling my little house, the first real place of my own.
It's up to you, ma'am, but since you asked my opinion, I think you should go for that interview. Make 'em have it.
You're just trying to get rid of me.
Here we are. James, sit down. I thought we ought to have a bit of a chat about this board tomorrow. You still want the job, I suppose?
Oh, yes, sir. Mind, it's like I said when you first asked me. I'm prepared to wait until a vacancy comes up outside headquarters.
Look, do you want promotion or do you not? If you want to do it your way, you only need to say there are plenty of others.
No, sir, I want it.
Oh, you said you wanted to read up on this Home Office member?
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Coffee?
Yes, please. I can't stop long.
Show me a minute.
I wanted to see you before you go to the board. Fancy a chance, then?
Who knows? How about giving me a 10-minute rundown on the new act? Police and criminal evidence.
Oh, as the Irish would say, a 10-minute rundown would take half a day.
I just had to play it by ear, then. If they ask me anything I don't know, I just tell them I asked my DCI, and he knew even less than me.
Will you be upset if you don't get picked for the job?
Not in the least. I'll just lie down in front of the interview board, drum my heels on the floor, and sob hysterically.
No, seriously.
I'm being serious.
But headquarters, is it really your scene?
Well, it's more a question of what's available, isn't it? It's the next rank I'm looking for.
You'll be giving up a lot. All this, your own patch. You'll be stuck in an office with more bosses than a dog has fleas. Needs thinking about.
I have thought about it a lot. You don't think this is a spur-of-the-moment idea, do you? You don't think I should be going after this job, do you?
Yes, if it's what you really want.
Come on. You've been pouring cold water on it all along.
Well, promotion's not always the answer. I want you to be happy, Kate.
I can stop calling you sir. That'll make me happy.
You don't understand, do you?
Look, at this moment, I want this more than anything, and I intend to do my damnedest to get it.
So your mind's made up, then?
Well, on this, certainly. Why are you trying to discourage me?
It's not that. I want what's best for you. I just don't think this is it.
Look, I've managed for the past 20 years by deciding myself what's best for me. I don't think I've done too badly.
Oh, you've muddled through in typical female style. No proper planning.
Go! You're not sitting in my house drinking my coffee, mouthing chauvinist claptrap. I should be annoyed, but I can't be bothered.
There is something I want to talk to you about.
Won't it keep? I really ought to read through this lot before I go on the board. And I must have an early night, or I'll look like Dracula's mother in the morning. Is it very urgent?
I suppose it'll keep till you've got more time. Best of luck for the interview, then.
Thanks, Mark. If you really mean it.
Of course I do.
Me think white man speak with forked tongue.
Not true. If it's what you really want.
Pamela? Don't be silly. Open the door. Pamela, love. Let me in. Come on, Pam. I've got the milk for the children's breakfast.
Hey, James. Clear off. I've told you we're better off without you.
Come on, Pam. Let me in. Please. Look, Pamela, this is beyond a joke. If you don't open the door, I'll have to break in.
If you don't go away, I'm warning you. I'm going to kill myself and the children. Go away.
Morning, Tom. Morning, Danny.
Morning, Mum.
Morning, George.
Morning, Mum. Very smart. Best uniform.
Number one dress, George. What I do?
Very impressive. You look quite radiant.
Oh.
All set for the interview?
Yep, today's the day. Headquarters at 12 noon. Up early this morning and I run through the park before breakfast. I really enjoyed it.
Very nice, I'm sure.
It was, George, really. I've been getting idle lately, neglecting the exercise. Gets your system going, sets you up for the day. You should try it sometime, Danny.
Oh, I have thought about it, Mum.
Well, I suppose that's a start. But don't just think about it. Get out there and do it. You too, George.
All right for her. Do you think differently if she had a wife and 3 kids?
Yeah, she'd probably look different if she had a wife and 3 kids, Sarge. Good morning, Arty Police.
Come in. Yes, George?
Mum,
George, you're not wearing your 22-year ribbon.
well, they haven't had the presentation yet.
You've been sent it through Corrie. Put it on. You're entitled.
Yes, so I'll ask the wife to switch it on. Just sent Brian and Sheila up to Hill Road. The Quigley woman, remember? One we had trouble with 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Wasn't it?
That's the one. Seems she's back home and playing up again.
Back home? So soon?
Came home last week, I understand. The experts decided she's not mental at all. She's got a personality disorder.
She was threatening everybody in sight with a carving knife. Personality disorder might put the poor woman sick. I was sat with her for over 3 hours while the doctor arranged her admission to hospital. I know what she's like.
Anyway, they sent her home and it seems she's gone again.
Gone?
Well, flipped. Lost her marbles.
Mrs. Quigley! Mrs. Quigley! Will you open the door, please, Mrs. Quigley?
Go away. Send my husband away. I don't want to talk to anybody.
We've come to help you. Will you let us in, please?
Go away. I don't need any help from any of you. If anybody comes through that door, I'll use this knife. I'll kill them and the children and myself. You can't get in. I've told you what I'll do if you try. I'll kill you.
Brian. Take Mr. Quigley to the car, have a chat with him, find out what you can. Keep him out of sight. We'll try and talk to her.
Right. She's got the children in there, Sergeant.
Yes, I know, Mr. Quigley. Do you think she might do them harm?
I honestly don't know. She's had attacks before, but she's never been as bad as this. Isn't there something you can do?
How about a doctor? Would she talk to him?
It's a her, Dr. McCree, West End Health Centre. I think she could talk to Pamela.
Back to Hartley.
I've tried the surgery and she's out in her runs.
Go ahead, Joe.
George, get Dr. McCree, West End Centre, up to this house in Hill Road, PDQ, will you?
Sergeant.
Stand by, George.
Can you get your inspector here? When Pamela started acting strange 5 or 6 weeks ago, your inspector was the only one who she would talk to then.
Come in.
Are you available, Mum?
What for, George? I'm just leaving.
Yeah, well, Joe's on the radio, asking if you can go up to Hill Road. The Quigley woman's bottled altogether. She's locked herself in with the children. She says she'll kill them or anyone else who tries to get in, and she's been waving a knife about again.
Tell Joe I'm on my way. Oh, George, would you mind ringing headquarters for me? Tell them I might be a little bit late, but I'll get there as soon as possible. Explain what it is and why I had to go. I might make it on time, but just to be on the safe side. Do you know if they've got the Quigley woman's doctor at Hill Road?
It's Dr. McCree, Mum. She's out on calls at the moment. I'm just trying to raise her.
Right. See you later.
Right. Hartley to Sergeant Beck.
Go ahead, George.
Inspector's on her way, Joe.
Mrs. Quigley, it's Pamela, isn't it? I'm Joe Beck. Do you mind if I call you Pam? Are you there, Pam? Can you hear me? Can I talk to the children, then? Will you let me talk to the children?
Hello, Mr. Quigley.
What about?
What's the situation, Brian?
Thank God you're here, Inspector. Perhaps you can talk to her.
Don't you worry now. I'll talk to her. Everything's going to be all right.
Well, there's been a bit of crashing about, and then it goes very quiet.
Heard anything of the children?
I heard Barbara. She's the 8-year-old. I heard her crying about 5 minutes ago. I haven't heard anything from the baby.
Try not to worry. Brian.
We'll go and sit in the car, out the way. No accident.
No, you're right. I shouldn't really. I gave up for 3 years. Can you believe that? 3 years. When Pamela had her breakdown, I started again.
Now, don't you worry. We'll sort it out. Everything will be all right.
It's the children.
They'll be okay. I promise.
I'll never forgive her for this. I won't.
Now, don't say that, Mr. Quigley. Your wife's sick. She doesn't know what she's doing.
How's it going, Joe?
She's stopped talking altogether now.
Have you had a look around?
Can't see much. She's drawn all the curtains, front and back door are locked solid.
The only open window is in the lounge, round the back.
Big enough to get through?
Yes, just about.
What do you reckon the situation is in there, Joe?
It's Sergeant Parrish at Hartley. Our Inspector Longton's due there for an interview at 12. Yeah, that's right. Well, she's asked me to ring you to let you know she might be a bit late. She's dealing with an incident over here. Children at risk. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know, but she'll be there as soon as she can. You'll pass the message on? Right.
I'll just blip twice, Joe, to let you know we're ready. Then start banging on the door. Try to hold her attention. Right, come on, Sheila. All right.
Yes, thanks, Mum. Bit chancy, isn't it?
There's not a lot of choice, is there?
I suppose not really.
But when we do get in, try to keep as calm as possible. Don't do or say anything to excite her. I just hope I can get near enough to talk to her and that she'll listen. Right, come on.
Listen, Pamela, nobody's going to take the children away from you. If you'll open the door, we can talk, that's all. Dr. McCree will be here in a minute. You'll talk to her, won't you? Will you open the door then?
No! No, Doctor! She sent me away. She sent me away again. I'm not going to let anybody in. I've got the baby with me. If anybody tries to get in, I'll throw her down the stairs. No! I'm not going to let anybody in. No, Doctor!
Barbara, can you hear me?
Hello, Pamela. Remember me? It's Kate. Kate Longton.
I don't know you. What do you want? What you doing in here? Keep away! I told you! Told you!
Please, Pamela.
There! Oh, no.
It's all right, Pam. It's all right. Everything's going to be all right.
Pamela and the baby.
They're all okay, Mr. Quigley. Everything's fine. I should just sit in the car for a minute or two.
Hello, Doctor. Good morning. Could you come with me, please? We got a call earlier on this morning from Mr. Quigley. I understand you know his wife.
Right, gentlemen, time we got started. Jim, the vacancy's in your department, so after the initial introductions, we'll leave the bulk of the questioning to you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Without preempting the interviews, have you any strong views?
Not really, sir. I'm happy to give them all a run.
Come on, Jim, be honest. You're lusting after Kate Longton.
I'm looking for a reliable chief inspector, Alec. Not an ornament for the office.
I know. I was just kidding. You've got to watch out for these young'uns, though, sir. Otherwise, they grab up all the good lookers, they leave naught for us old stagers.
I've been watching Alec. If he has his way, he'll have his office like a harem.
It is the Juvenile Bureau, sir. It's not my fault that the work requires a high proportion of young women.
Methinks he doth protest too much.
All right, Alec. Joking aside, Miss Longton's only one of 4 we've to see. Let's not forget what we've come here to do. We'll make a totally professional assessment of each of them and then select one of them for promotion, right?
Well, yes, of course, sir. But as Miss Longton's name has cropped up, what's the chief's view of her?
From what he said, he thinks very highly of her. Why?
Well, it's just that we might have a situation here.
In what way? She'll get equal consideration with the rest.
Yes, but it's how it could be interpreted. Now, I was talking to a woman officer the other day,
And she said, I suppose the Juvenile Bureau job will be given to Kate Longton.
What made her say that?
Well, that's what I asked. And she said, well, it's a job that's to do with handling kids, so it'll be given to her because she's a woman. You see, she saw it as a form of discrimination. What utter nonsense.
Never crossed my mind to look at it that way.
Oh. Well, I just thought I'd mention it so you know what could be said if we decide to give it to her. She stands exactly the same chance as the rest. If we decide she's the most suitable, she gets the job. If not, she doesn't. Now, let's get started. Rowlandson first. Thought he said he wasn't prepared to move house from Wilberley.
He has said that in the past, sir, but perhaps he's changed his mind. He's a very experienced inspector.
Yeah, and he's very old. You know, Jim, I'd have thought you'd want to go more with someone on the same wavelength as the youngsters they'll be dealing with. And he'd have to live within easy travelling distance of headquarters, surely. Oh, yes, Wilberley's out of the question. Let's see what he has to say. Send Mr. Rowlandson in, will you, Molly?
I'll have to get off to headquarters, Sheila. I'm late already. Can you hang on here till everything's settled?
Quigley and the children are settled in with the neighbours for the time being.
How are they, Joe?
He's a bit upset. The kids are drinking orange juice as though nothing had happened.
Keep an eye on them. I've told Sheila to stay back a while, Joe. How is she, Brian?
Quiet, Mum. The doctor's given her a sedative. She's going to arrange readmission.
Good. Well, see you all later.
Best of luck, Mum.
Thanks.
Mum,
What?
couldn't help noticing.
Oh, no.
Tights, Mum?
Oh, Sheila. What a godsend. You've saved my life.
Another illusion destroyed. Tights. In my fantasy, she always wears stockings and red suspenders.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rowlandson. We'll let you know in a day or so what we decide.
Thank you, sir.
Not very impressive.
Just as I said, he's too old, too set in his ways. I wouldn't promote him. He was the last man in the force. I hope the rest are better.
I've just had a message from Hartley, sir, to say Inspector Longton's attending an incident and will be delayed. She'll arrive as soon as possible.
Thank you, Molly. Woman's privilege, I suppose? Well, does she expect us just to sit here and look at each other till she deigns to put in an appearance? Well, she is attending an incident. Hairdresser, more likely.
She's the third on our list.
Should I see if I can pull Wood forward from 4? Well, that would help. See what you can do, Alec. You've other things to do than wait Mr. Longton's convenience. Two down, 2 to go. Well, those two are a right disappointment. No relevant experience at all.
I'm surprised, really, that either of them on the short list.
Chief Constable, in his wisdom. You know, I suspect he stuck those two in just to make up numbers. This lad Wood has a very impressive record on paper. Perhaps a bit short on operational experience. Oh, he's got an excellent staff appraisal report.
That's likely. You wrote it.
Inspector Wood, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Sit down, Mr. Wood. Please relax. We shan't be trying to catch you out.
Thank you, sir.
I think you know everybody here. Chief Superintendent Maxwell, Chief Superintendent Catley.
Sir.
Thank you very much for making yourself available for this earlier interview.
Happy to be of assistance, sir. I appreciate how valuable your time is. I was able to rearrange a couple of appointments I had. My sergeant can deal with the rest.
Good. Now, let me see. You have 11.5 years' service, and you've been an inspector just over 2 years.
Yes, sir.
You're married, Mr. Wood, with 1 child.
Yes, sir. A boy, aged 3.5. Another expected next month.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And you live near headquarters, so you wouldn't have the upset of moving house, or the expense either, of course.
That's right, sir.
Well, now, as you know, the post you've applied for is head of the Juvenile Bureau. Now, apart, of course, from being a family man, how do you think you particularly fit that post?
Well, sir, I'm actively involved with my local junior football team. In the near future, I'm expected to be invited onto the management committee of my church youth group.
There's no mention of this in your application.
Well, it's primarily just a personal interest, sir. A hobby, you might say. I didn't mention it because I didn't want to give the impression I was using it to gain some advantage.
Hey, how long have you been doing this?
Not very long, I'm afraid, sir. Duties in connection with the miners' dispute made it difficult.
Are you thinking...
And before that, excuse me, you put in a lot of extra hours in the evenings to get on top of your present job as Inspector in Personnel.
Well, sir...
Well, that was my doing, I suppose, because when I saw how keen he was, I decided to let him go to it.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time, sir.
Oh.
Goodbye, sir.
Ah. Smart enough, young lad.
Well, I think I can be objective, even though he has been in my department a couple of years. I think he'd fit very well into your department, Jim.
We're not finished yet. There's still Miss Longton.
Oh, she seems to have gone by default, sir.
Hardly, Alec. Her message did say that she was attending an incident. Don't forget that she's an operational officer with operational commitments.
Quite right. And the Chief Constable would be a little displeased, I think, if we made our choice without even seeing her.
I agree, sir. It would be most discourteous.
Has Miss Longton arrived yet, Molly?
She's in the building, sir. She'll be here in a minute.
We'll see her as soon as she is. Suppose we'd better give her time to powder her nose. Very attractive woman. Be a pleasant change talking to her.
Strange she never married.
Yeah. Ex-regular army, I see.
Yeah, commissioned, too. Didn't she leave because of a fellow?
To get one, or to avoid one.
Inspector Longton, sir.
Ah, come in, Miss Longton. Please sit down, compose yourself.
Thank you, sir. I could do with getting my breath back.
You've had a bit of a rush to get here.
Yes.
You know Chief Superintendents Catley and Maxwell?
Yes, thank you, sir.
As we're running late, I'm sure you'll understand if we get into the interview straight away. Now, we know that you've been an inspector for 4 years and you're currently at Hartley with 24-hour responsibility.
That's correct, sir.
And you live in your own house in Hartley.
Yes, sir.
What was the incident that delayed you this morning?
It was a report of a mentally disturbed woman who had locked herself in a house with her 2 children and was threatening to harm them, sir.
I see. Were you able to bring it to a satisfactory conclusion?
Well, we got the children out unharmed and we got a doctor to the woman. I'm not sure I would describe it as a totally satisfactory conclusion, though.
Oh?
Well, we had a similar incident with the same woman only a few weeks ago. Medical opinion decided then that she was fit to be sent home. It's likely to happen again.
You don't agree with the medical view, Inspector?
No, sir, I don't. Not in this case.
So, you know better than the experts?
I wouldn't say that, sir. I see firsthand the problems that the experts offload onto society, sir.
You appear to feel strongly about it, Miss Longton.
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you think padded cells are the answer?
No, sir, I don't. But neither do I think it's the answer to put the whole family at risk.
When the boss will get this job at headquarters, then?
I hope not.
Me too. If you don't mind me saying so, I think that's a pretty poor attitude.
Better the devil you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah, well, I think she deserves promotion.
Did I say she didn't?
What? No, but she...
No, well, she can just wait.
Why should she have to wait?
Self-preservation.
Why does she need preserving?
Not her, you pillock. Us.
Why us?
In the last 7 years, Daniel, I've had 3 different inspectors. 2 of them women. They've all come here with their own bright ideas on how Hartley should be policed. We've put in a lot of time and effort training them to our ways, haven't we, George?
Blood, sweat and tears it's been.
And we're not ready to take on another just yet. Kate Longton's adapted pretty well to the Lewis system, so she can just stay on a bit.
What's the Lewis system?
The LUAH system, Danny, stands for Leave Us Alone at Hartley. We've been playing that system for years, and believe me, it's a sight more effective than 4-2-4 or 4-4-2 or whatever Bobby Robson's got the England team playing.
The next boss could decide he wants a sweeper. And it could be you.
Thank you, Miss Longton. Mr. Catley?
I've nothing more, sir.
Mr. Maxwell? Yes, thank you, sir. You're not married, Inspector Longton.
No, sir.
What experience have you had with young people?
I had a very active involvement in Hartley Youth Club, sir.
You say had. Is this no longer?
I am still involved, sir, but less so than previously.
Why is that?
The leader changed. The new leader doesn't seek a close relationship with the police. In fact, the membership is not encouraged to be friendly towards us.
Isn't that all the more reason to try to get police involvement?
Oh, we have tried, sir, but it takes effort on both sides. We've not found the present management receptive to our approaches.
Yes, but you had a closer, more personal relationship with the previous leader.
Sir?
The previous leader, the one who went abroad somewhere, was a close friend of yours.
We were friends, yes, sir. We shared an interest in running.
Well, was it his withdrawal that led to your reduced involvement now?
Not directly, sir. It was the change of attitude following his leaving.
I see. Yeah. Well, on the subject of friends, Inspector, and please, don't think this is idle curiosity, do you have a regular man friend?
I would have to ask you to define the word regular, sir. There are men I go out with from time to time. Some very occasionally, and one or two more often.
But no marriage plans?
As they say, sir, it's manners to wait until you're asked.
But, as they also say, you're open to offers?
From the right person, yes, sir.
Ah, yes. Mr. Wright. And children.
Children, sir?
Are you fond of children, Miss Longton?
Yes, I am, sir. Very fond of children.
So that if Mr. Wright came along, it would be likely that children would follow. I'm sorry to have to ask such personal questions, but I'm sure you appreciate such matters can directly affect a woman's career.
I'm sorry you think it necessary to ask, sir. I understood I was to be interviewed as a potential chief inspector, not as a broodmare.
I'm sorry if what has been said has caused you embarrassment, Miss Longton. I'm sure that wasn't Mr. Maxwell's intention. But we do think that your future marital intentions are relevant.
Look, may I say, sir, for the record, I have presently no plans to marry. But like my male colleagues, I reserve the right to do so at the appropriate time. And I can assure you, sir, that if and when that time comes, the Chief Constable will be among the first to know.
Please, sit down, Miss Longton.
May I have your permission to leave, sir? I no longer wish to be considered further for this post.
If you're sure.
Yes, I am sure, sir. I think it better to leave now before things are said which might be regretted.
Very well, you may go. If you wish, you may come and see me again to discuss things. When you are feeling more composed.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you certainly touched a nerve there, Alec.
I think you went too far.
Predictably. You've just seen your fancied horse fall at the first fence. It all just goes to support what I've always said. Women are psychologically and emotionally unfitted for management posts.
The only emotion that you managed to arouse in her was one that's common in men as well, blazing temper.
Well, I should hate to see her in a real operational situation.
You didn't put your man Wood under the same pressure, as you call it, harry him about his personal life.
Perhaps you were a bit hard with her, Alec. But there it is. Can we discuss our recommendation for the post now? Well, it's got to be Wood, in my opinion. Jim?
Well, I still think that Kate Longton's worth consideration.
She effectively withdrew herself from consideration, Jim. Well, I agree with you, Alec. Wood is the best of the other three. Jim?
Of the other three, perhaps.
So, Wood it is. I'll tell the Chief it was a unanimous decision.
Heard anything about your move to CID?
No. I told Mr. Perrin I don't want it.
Oh. Wish to give me the chance.
Yeah, well, your turn will come.
You hanging back for the sergeant's job, then?
Not really.
You must be in the frame for something soon.
I don't want anything that'll mean moving house. Not with things the way they are.
No. How is your Linda?
Much the same.
Listen, the lads, well, we've been talking, and they suggested I talk to you, us being mates. Is there nothing can be done for her?
They say not. Nothing.
I mean, nothing anywhere. America or Russia.
It just takes its course.
Look, if it's a question of money, the lads want you to know they want to help. If there's out, sponsorships, fundraising, walks, but anything, you just say the word, right?
We've had it to the best people there are. They all say there's no cure. Not anywhere in the world.
Are they sure, though?
Janice and me have talked it. Uphill and down dale. Night and day. We've seen people. Taken advice. We've tried everything. Eventually, you have to accept it, Danny. You have to accept it and carry on. There are no miracle cures.
Yeah, we just wondered.
I know, Danny. Look, don't let the lads think I'm ungrateful, but we mustn't kid ourselves. Build up false hopes. Are you doing anything special tonight?
Nothing particular.
Well, come round, why don't you? You can have some dinner with us. Give Janice a laugh.
You missed out what the neighbour told you about Mrs. Quigley.
I didn't think I could put that in, Sarge. It's hearsay, isn't it?
You couldn't put it in a statement, but you could put it in a report.
Never understood hearsay evidence anyway.
Well... Well. I think somebody's in need of a hot, strong cup of tea, Sheila.
Yes, Sarge.
Yes, come in. Oh, see you, Sheila. Come in.
Thought you might like a brew, Mum.
Thanks. That's just what I need. Shut the door. Are you a feminist?
Not really, Mum. I've never thought it necessary.
No, that's how I've always felt. But by hell, after today.
That bad?
You know, I was in the army for 7 years. That's a pretty macho setup. But they could take lessons from the police in male chauvinism.
I suppose I've been lucky up to now as far as that's concerned.
Just wait till you start to get on. Be seen as a threat. We know a woman has to be twice as good to be accepted as equal. I mean, you see male officers who are scruffy, incompetent, with a sickness record like the Doomsday Book. But if a woman isn't smartly turned out and pulling her weight, it's a case of what do you expect? She's a woman. I've seen 16 years of it, but today we reached new heights.
It didn't go too well then.
I think you could say it went with a bang. At one stage I bottled. I almost told them to stop the promotion and the rest of the police force with it.
Did you? Great.
I said almost. Let's not get carried away. As far as that job's concerned, I might just as well have done.
Are you not too disappointed?
Not really. I didn't want to move to headquarters anyway. It's just the way they went about it. And I let them get to me. I suppose that's what makes me so blazing mad. Still, what's done?
Success?
That's all, Mum.
Thanks, Sheila.
Who's a clever girl, then?
I blew it, Mark.
Give over.
It's true.
I'd have thought you'd have walked it. What went wrong?
Well, for starters, I arrived late. I was held up on a job, and it went downhill from there.
Arrived late. Well, that wasn't very clever. Gets you off on the wrong foot.
I was on a job. I didn't do it on purpose.
I'm not saying you did, Kate. I'm just saying it's not a very good way to start.
I know that!
I really am very sorry, love. I knew you'd be upset if it didn't work out.
Upset? Far from it. In fact, I'd already decided I didn't want the job if it was offered.
You don't have to pretend to me, Kate. I remember what you said last night.
Ah, that was last night. I've slept since then.
Oh, come on. Be serious. What happened to make you change your mind?
Women don't need a reason to change their mind.
Well, you can't win them all.
I don't expect to win them all, as you put it. All I expect is to be allowed to compete under the same rules.
Go on, then. You better tell me about it from the beginning.
I don't know the details, Sarge. Just that she didn't get it.
She's still upset.
I think blazing mad would be nearer to it.
Hell hath no fury.
Sheila? It's just come off in my hand. I don't suppose
What a pity, Danny. They don't make them like they used to.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
You can always do a temporary job with a matchstick at the back.
And that's how it finished.
Near enough. The ACC tried to sugar the pill, but I'm afraid he had to be told.
I can see now why you feel so aggrieved. But they'll understand. I'm over at headquarters in the morning. I'll have a word with the ACC. There'll be no lasting damage done.
What?
If you like, I'll let him know how annoyed you are.
You'll explain, will you, that it can all be put down to my age? Hormonal imbalance? Or one of those emotional quirks peculiar to women? You'll do no such thing, Mark. That board was prejudiced, grossly unfair and totally unprofessional. Any apology or explanation should be offered by them, not by me. And what's more, Mark, on this issue, you are the last person I'd pick to present my case for me.
Oh, great. You turn on me when I show an interest. Try to help.
Help? Your only interest is in perpetuating the male status quo.
Well, if that's true, why am I here then?
I don't know, unless it's a gloat.
Oh, now you're being paranoid.
You're not denying you didn't want me to get that promotion.
No, I admit it. I didn't want you to get that job.
Couldn't you face equality?
Because I think you'd be better off without it.
I don't know how I've managed all these years without you to tell me what's good for me.
Well, it could be better in the future.
Oh, and now you're going to tell me in what way it could be better?
Well, if you're interested...
Go on, I can't wait to hear this.
By sharing the responsibility. A partnership.
Are you proposing to me?
Yes. I think it could work.
And that's how you think things could be better for me? Marriage? The male solution to all the little woman's problems? Come in.
Excuse me, Mum. Dr. McCree's here. She'd like a word. Pamela Quigley's been readmitted.
Show her into the interview room, Joe. I'll be through in a minute.
Right, Mum?
Look, I know it's meant with the best of intentions, but your sense of timing, I mean, of all the days to pick. I'm sorry, Mark, you'll have to excuse me.
Well, very nice being rejected. Is it?
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sunhill are on the beat. In the bill.
You've got carried away again, haven't you, Daniel? Hold back on the adjectives, lad. Keep it short, simple, to the point. I mean, it's a bit purple, some of this.
It was just a bit unusual, the graffiti.
Likely the work of kids with time on their hands. What's so special?
It was the daubing that took me notice. Big lines in circles, like a kid's drawing, green paint, right across the walls outside the shop. Crazy stuff.
A bit like modern art, you mean?
No letters or words, though. Struck me as odd, that. Usually get a few obscenities written up. Just this crazy scrawling.
Simon? Morning, Maggie. Morning. Joe?
Morning, ma'am.
Oh, hello.
Bright and early.
Yes.
Young Sparks is just brewing up, ma'am.
Morning, Grace. Good, that'll help. I thought I'd come in early, get some paperwork done before it piles up. Best time of the day before the phone starts ringing.
Have any difficulty finding that restaurant last night?
No, you were right, Joe. Thanks. Across the moors, just the other side of Tunnerton, like you said. Bit of a trek, though, mind you.
Worth the effort, was it?
Yes, we did have quite a nice meal. Joe, do you make a habit of taking food home from restaurants?
What, you mean leftovers?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't normally frequent restaurants myself, ma'am. My mother always used to take a large handbag with her whenever she ate out. Reckon she'd paid for the food, so why shouldn't she have it?
That's what John Holden said. He took a bin liner.
I see, ma'am.
Funny sense of humour. Still, thanks, Joe.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lunchtime today? I don't know. Let's see how I get on. I'm up to my eyes at the moment. Okay, I'll see you in the pub at lunchtime if I can make it. Thanks, Tommy. No, I'm not cross, John. Well, not exactly. I was a bit embarrassed last night, yes. I mean, I thought you were going to plonk the salt cellar in your bin liner as well. It's just you seem to have some very odd habits sometimes. Yes.
Simon, your dad wants a word.
Why, Simon? Eh? What are you about, lad? Clearing off in the middle of the night? Up with the door and sneaking off? Eh? Why? You're gonna get in the bother, you know that. You're heading for trouble, my son. Where'd you get to, eh? Answer me, Simon. I want to know what this is all about.
Simon, your dad's asking you.
Just wandering round. No harm. Don't tell me you're just taking the air. You're up to something, you are. You're doing something wrong.
Not wrong, no.
Don't want the police on our doorstep over you. I don't want any trouble here.
Simon, you make us so worried. Roaming off on your own at odd hours. We don't know where you are. What you doing?
I just go off. Nowhere particular.
It's not natural by yourself.
You used to play football. Belong to that club. What's happened, Simon? Where's your interest?
Gone off it.
Gone off it? I don't get you, lad, I don't. I mean, you're given everything we can manage. You've got that shed out there, eh? It's what you always wanted, wasn't it, eh? Place of your own. But even that don't seem to interest you now.
I'm all right, Dad. All this fuss, what's the matter?
Well, I want a change of attitude, Simon. All this flopping around. Tell me, when did you last go down to the job centre?
Oh, they got nothing.
Yeah, well, I won't have you going off like this, you hear? I won't have it.
Can do what I want, can't I? I'm 17, I'm old enough to decide.
You'll do what I say while you're here in this house. Now, where'd you get to, eh? Up to the moors? Is that where you're going?
Up to the moors? Where should I? What's up there?
Look, Simon, you're causing us a lot of worry.
Why? I don't see why.
Your mum! It's upsetting her. She's having a baby, remember?
Why did you ask about the moors?
Shut it! Get out of here! Get out! I don't want to tell the house to hear. I don't want to hear.
Make it up, please, now. Between you. For my sake.
Sorry, Mum.
We've got to get the police in on that boy. Let them sort it before something happens.
We can't. No, we can't.
Interesting thing is, blackboards were covered with these weird chalk marks.
Algebra exercises, probably.
No, Sarge, just like before, like the graffiti down the shopping precinct. Same kind of scrawling. Except this time there was a letter, a sort of S it looked like.
Put it all in your report. Let CID fathom it. And keep it brief this time, eh?
Sarge?
Daddy,
Oh.
can I have a word?
Can I help you, sir?
Brian Killer around?
I'm afraid he's not on duty this morning.
Oh.
Anything I can do?
No, I wanted Mr. Keller. I don't know where he lives, so I thought best come down here.
It's not police business, then, I take it.
Well, it could be, yeah. Well, that's why I've come.
Well, tell me about it.
No, I'd rather not. I know Mr. Keller, and it's a bit private.
See? Well, he'll be here this afternoon if you'd like to call back.
No, I can't do that. I've already taken time off the garage to come down here. And it's a bit urgent. Well, it might prove so.
Can I help at all? I'm Inspector Longton, Mr.
Bailey. Douglas Bailey.
Well, Mr. Bailey, I'm expecting PC Keller in to see me shortly. Perhaps you'd like to sit in my office, have a cup of coffee, talk to me. Tell me about this, if you'd like to.
Well, I don't know. It could amount to nothing, really.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't have given it your working time over nothing. This way.
on!
How long has he been behaving like this?
For the past month or so. Seems suddenly to have come upon him.
Any particular cause?
Not that I know of. He's always been a bit of a loner, you know. He kept himself to himself. We like football. A good player. Keen on Mr. Keller's club. Believe it or not, don't seem to interest him now.
Where do you think he goes?
Likes the country. Always has done.
No harm in that. Do you think it might be connected with your wife expecting a baby?
Well, I don't see really. No, he's really pleased about it. Simon doesn't resent the baby coming.
Maybe not on the surface. Perhaps he's a bit jealous deep down. Not even aware of it. So it comes out in this unpredictable behaviour.
Well, I can't believe that, Inspector.
Simon's grown up as an only child. Perhaps the prospect of this new arrival might have disturbed him.
Well, we had Simon when we were young, see? In our teens. Wasn't planned for. So we waited till we were proper set up, saved a tidy sum, before we had another kid.
You say Simon's never worked since he left school?
Nothing but lads like him round these parts.
Well, that could have something to do with it. Unoccupied, feeling bored, unwanted. It's understandable.
I just think my son might get himself into trouble.
But why, Mr. Bailey? For what reason?
This strange way of carrying on. I mean, this morning, threatening me. So unlike him.
Fathers and sons often fall out. Simon's at that uncertain age. You know, a bit restless, trying to sort himself.
Oh, there's something more to this.
Very possibly so, Mr. Bailey. But have you told me everything about the situation?
What do you mean?
Well, people sometimes come to us worried about someone, usually in their family. There's often a good reason which they know but won't admit to. So we only get half the story.
I'm not holding anything back, if that's what you're saying.
Then why are you so worried? Your son's behaving like many kids of his age. You don't know of any mischief he's been up to, do you?
I know of nothing like that.
So there's nothing more you can tell me?
Look, I've come here to try and avoid anything happening. Prevent him getting into trouble.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, I thought you could just talk to him. You know, word from the police might bring him to his senses before... well, before it's too late.
Right. I'll ask Brian Kelleher to talk to him, you know, on an informal basis, see if there is anything to worry about.
Ryman's Farm, that's just off Moor End Lane, isn't it? And the intruder made off, you say? Did you get a look at him? I see. Was there any damage done?
Morning, Danny. What's around?
In her office, Brian.
Good mood.
Good enough for you.
Anything stolen, was there? A spade? Just a spade?
Now, Brian, we're going to start nagging you again.
Mum?
Today's the closing date for promotion board applications. That's why I wanted us to speak before you came on duty this afternoon. I've not had a report from you.
No, Mum.
Well, why haven't you applied for permission to appear on the board?
Same reason as before, Mum.
Still not interested?
I'm satisfied with where I am.
You don't strike me as lazy, Brian, or complacent. Are you intimidated by the idea of responsibility?
It's just not my style. I'm not that ambitious. As long as I do my job well enough, that's all I want.
You prefer the simple life?
Yeah, I suppose that's right.
Yet you were sufficiently motivated to pass your sergeant's exam.
Oh, passing, it's one thing. It's good to have it under your belt. If I was successful on the promotions board and got made sergeant, I could get moved from Hartley. Now, there's the kids' school to consider. This is a town I like.
Then have you considered specialising? CID, for instance. You've impressed everyone with your skill at handling suspects.
The hours are the main disadvantage, Mum. They're pretty unsocial.
Your wife would mind?
I'd mind. I'm quite involved with the sports club, and I like to see my family.
OK, I see that. But there's no reason why you shouldn't at least try for a promotion in the uniform branch.
I might very well change my mind in a few years' time, but as of now...
How old are you? 34 in a matter of days, isn't that right? Happy birthday now, by the way, in case I forget.
Thanks.
You've been with the force, what, 15 years? You've left things late already. Now's the time to act. Because in another 5 or 6 years, you'll face the prospect of being supervised by men younger than yourself. How would you take to that?
Not too kindly, I don't imagine. No doubt I can live with it.
But why should you? You're a good officer. You've got things to offer.
Thank you, Mum.
Now, it's not for me to talk you into something you don't want. But there are others to consider. Like your wife. How does she feel about this?
Well, Mum, Janice, she's keen for me to, I mean, certainly she'd like me to take the initiative.
Then you owe it to her. And your family. At least give it a try.
Thank you for taking this trouble, Mum.
Anyway, you've got till this afternoon, so think on it.
I will, Mum.
Oh, Brian, while you're here, there's another matter I want to talk to you about.
Simon. Wondered where you'd gone.
Nowhere much. Are you okay?
Yeah. Say sorry to your father. Make it right with him.
I didn't mean nothing. He just riled me.
Apologise to him when he comes home tonight. Then we can forget it. Do you want something to eat?
I'll take some sandwiches out into the shed.
Why don't you have them in here? Won't it be cold out there on your own?
I'll be okay.
I'll make you some up.
Thanks, Mum. Mum, why did Dad ask about the moors?
He doesn't want you to go up there, Simon. He doesn't like the moors.
Why not?
Maybe he'll tell you one day. I'll make you sandwiches now.
Open up there. Hello, Simon. Your mum asked me to bring this out.
Fancy a bite?
Yeah, got me dinner waiting at home. How you doing then?
Not so bad.
Thought I'd drop by. Haven't seen you down the club lately.
Been a bit busy, Mr. Kelleher.
What do you reckon on Burnley now, then?
Not been following.
Gone off them since relegation.
Lost interest a bit, that's all.
It's all right in here, isn't it? Your own den. Did you paint the outside yourself? Why'd you pick green?
Favourite colour?
Ah. Do you keep down out here some nights?
In the summer. Too cold now.
Used to go off camping when I was your age. Nothing like it. Away from everything. Trouble is, you've always got to come back home again. What do you reckon on your mother, then? Expecting a kid?
I built a cot.
Have you?
Thought I could make some toys as well. Things like these. Model farmhouse or something.
You do this?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You fond of animals?
Never thought about it.
Who's in the photo?
That was my granddad. Old snapshot I found.
He's dead then, is he?
Never knew him. Just like his face there.
This is quite something.
You can have it if you like.
Let me buy it off you.
You can't buy it, Mr. Kelleher. It's not intended for selling. You can have it.
Thank you, Simon. I'll give it to my daughter. Where'd you get all the tools and stuff?
They were Dad's. He let me have the shed as well.
Pity you can't find work in this line. Getting you down, is it? Being out of work?
Can't say I'm out of work. Never been in work.
What do you do with yourself when you're not carving models?
Take off, wander round, nothing much.
Look, Simon, your dad came to see us this morning at the station. He seems he's a bit bothered about you. He thinks you're getting a bit wild. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, he's concerned. Anything in it? You've been behaving yourself, haven't you?
Done nothing wrong.
Not been misbehaving recently?
Like what?
Well, your dad seems to think you've been keeping odd hours.
Well, what does it matter?
Matters nothing. As long as you mind how you go. Humour your dad a bit. Try and do what he wants. We all got to fall in sometimes. Just you wait till you're married.
Dad sent you here.
Indirectly.
I thought you just looked in to say hello.
Well, I've got to go now, Simon. My dinner will be burning. Well, thanks to the little horse.
Why are you doing everything you possibly can to provoke me?
Am I succeeding?
Is it some sort of test? A battle of wills? Kind of tribal initiation ceremony?
Tribal initiation ceremony. We haven't really got down to that yet, have we? I mean, you're quite an old-fashioned type of girl.
Yes.
I'm proud of it.
Not ashamed of it.
You think we'll ever get down to it? Or will we be drawing our pensions first?
I can think of better places for that kind of discussion.
Yeah, so can I. The lounge bar, for example.
Sometimes you really
A
are.
bit of a slob, in fact.
Did I say that?
No, but it's what you think. Not polite enough in posh restaurants. Slurps in his beer, burps on occasions. Not a suitable companion for the Chief Constable's cocktail party. He's too untidy in mind and spirit.
You'll improve.
Not a great deal. I was born wrapped in fish and chip paper.
Perhaps that's what attracts me.
A revolted fascination. A kind of temporary escapade into the lowlife. What do you do that for?
I shall sit here till you drink it.
Want something to eat? They do ham butties here.
Not if you brought another bin liner.
No, I always use the same one. I'm not joking.
I must say it was a bit too much last night. And the waiters weren't too happy either. I mean, first the shrimps went in, then half a chicken, then the roast potatoes and lump of English cheddar. And you wanted some of mine.
It was for the dog.
Oh, I see. First off, I thought you were planning a cold lunch buffet.
I can't drink that now, can I? I'll get another round in.
Not for me, chum. I've got to get back.
Oh, well, when will I see you again?
How much do you want to?
Quite a lot. Maybe I can loosen you up eventually.
Maybe I can teach you some table manners.
Ah, I doubt it. Your mother failed.
Not your mother, am I?
Well, prove it.
Time I went.
Tomorrow morning in the park.
What's wrong with tonight?
I'm working.
Okay, tomorrow morning. We can work off some of our aggression. Excuse me.
Hold it. Right, what's your name?
Right, cut it out! Vicious little ferret, aren't you?
Ah, there you are. Afternoon, Sarge. Inspector's asking for you. Never gives up, does she? Hang on there a minute.
Brian?
Ma'am, I've decided. I'm going to apply for permission to appear on the promotions board.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. Brian, your assistance is needed. Young Simon Bailey says he won't talk to anyone but you.
Why did you write your name up on the wall, Simon? Was that it? A kind of signature?
Just to see my name. Look at it there.
Why was that important?
It's my name.
Well, why didn't you write it up when you did over the shopping precinct?
I tried, but
And what about the school? And that was your old form classroom you broke into, wasn't it? You never managed to finish writing your name on the blackboard. Why was that?
Got fed up.
There's something you can't stand about school and learning, isn't there? Write it for me. On there. Write your name. Simon. Go on. Put Simon. You can't write, can you? A lot of people have difficulties, no cause for shame.
Not worth much if you can't write. Not even your own name.
What about your reading? Can you read? It must have been the same all through your schooling, Simon. It never seemed to bother you like this before. Is it because you can't get a job?
Wanted to read about football in the papers like others do. On the back page where they print things about the matches. I've seen lads my age reading the papers. I just wanted to be able to.
Why didn't you get someone to read it out for you?
It's not the same. It's not the same at all.
So, you took to daubing and wrecking. You broke into your old school, I can understand that, but why pick on the shopping precinct? And that old building site? I mean, was there any particular reason or just random?
Ugly. Ugly places.
You don't like the look of them, modern buildings?
Can't breathe near them.
Simon, do you want to make a statement? You don't have to. But if you want to tell us what happened in your own words, somebody will write it down.
Then won't you want to hear about the farm?
What farm, Simon?
I broke into the farm by the moors.
You mean Ryman's? Ryman's factory farm?
Stinks of death, that place.
Did you take a spade?
That's why I went there, looking for a spade.
What did you want that for?
There was a dead sheep on the moor road. Couldn't be left like that.
What did you do with the spade after?
Left it up on the moors.
What were you doing on the moors, Simon?
I go there sometimes.
You like the moors?
They scare me a bit.
Why do they scare you?
There's something there. Just a feeling.
What's up there, Simon? Why'd you go there?
I don't know. They draw me somehow. Like something pulling at me. What will happen to me now?
Well, you'll be charged with criminal damage and burglary. Your case will come up before the magistrates in 2 or 3 weeks. In the meantime, you'll be bailed.
Does that mean I can go away now?
When the paperwork's done, CID will want to talk to you.
I've said everything.
Simon, you'll have to stay here a little longer. If you like, we'll contact your parents, tell them what's happened. They might want to come down here.
I don't want them here. Keep them out.
They should be told, Simon. Your father's already come to us. You might want to hear about
I won't have him here. Leave him out of it.
Calm down, Simon.
Why don't you all just leave me alone?
I see he's signed a statement with an ex, poor lad. What a turmoil he's in. First offender. Obviously in an unsettled state. Probably get probation. Maybe that'll help sort him.
There's something not right about this, Mum. There's more to it.
How do you mean?
It's too simple. I don't believe it. A kid that can't read or write gets up to all this mischief just because of that. Doesn't add up.
You think he's lying?
Not lying. I don't think he even knows what this is about.
You're not making sense, Brian.
What is this hold the Moors have over him? Why did he break into the farm?
He said why.
He's running from something. Trying to find something.
Why aren't there any windows in here?
You what?
I want to stretch my legs.
Sit down, we won't be long.
Why can't I just walk around for a bit?
Look, will you just...
What on earth was that? Brian. George, what happened?
Well, we've got a slight problem, Mum. I'm sure we can sort it out.
Explanations, please.
Bailey's escaped, Mum.
How did it happen?
He was just so fast, Mum. I couldn't stop him.
You realise that if this lad isn't caught in a very short time, you will automatically be subject to formal disciplinary procedure for neglect of duty?
Yes, Mum.
Wait outside, Constable. I'll speak to you later.
Mum?
I don't want a word of this breathed outside the station, George. I want to keep this between ourselves for as long as we can.
There'll be trouble if we don't report it.
I'm prepared to take that risk. I want to avoid young Sparks being hauled in front of the Chief Constable.
Well, we'll have to circulate a message to headquarters within a couple of hours.
Right. Let's make sure we catch Bailey before then. Everyone in for briefing. CID as well. I want every officer in the station out looking for that lad.
And there was no time to get her to the hospital, see, so Shaddy's in the bedroom upstairs.
Well, I'm glad things went so well for you, Mr. Bailey. How did Simon react?
Oh, he doesn't know yet. He's not been here.
Oh. You've not seen him yet?
What's going on? What's happened to him?
He's gone to find my father. His grandfather.
Simon believes his grandfather to be dead, Mr. Bailey.
I told him he was dead. But he may still be alive. I've not seen him for 17 years.
We were travellers. Simon was born in a gypsy caravan out on the moors. Near Toniton. There's a site used by gypsy folk. Near Craigmore End. Simon spent his first months there.
It's not a permanent site, though, is it?
Well, folk used to travel over. Stop a month or two. We came once a year. The owners were friendly.
But, Mr. Bailey, how is it possible for you to know that your father's there? at Craigmore End right at this minute.
Time of the year. We travel this part of the country come autumn.
Why did you not speak of this when you came to see me?
The same reason I didn't tell Simon. I didn't want him to know. I wouldn't have Simon growing up on gypsy camps, always on the road, nowhere to go, that way of life. I planned we'd become an ordinary family. We were called O'Shea. We changed our name by deed poll. See, we were frightened people would find out about us. Scared what people would think knowing we were gypsies. That's why we waited so long before we had another kid.
Can we be sure that you're right about where Simon's gone? I mean, he might have just run off, anywhere.
Simon took a watch. A gold watch. My father gave it to me as a keepsake when we left. Simon knew it was his grandfather's. He's taken it to him. Look, I must go to my wife now.
Mr. Bailey? Why should this happen now, at this time? I mean, why hasn't Simon gone off like this before in all the years you've been living here?
I don't know that. I just don't know. Look, my wife will want me with her.
Can we rely upon what he says? Can we risk pulling all our men out to Toniton on something that vague?
With respect, Ma'am, I don't believe we should send in a lot of uniforms after the lad. He'll run at the first sight. He knows those moors. Could take days to find him.
No, Simon. No more running.
Get off!
It's your grandfather down there. Your daddy didn't tell you the whole truth. There's a lot he didn't tell you. Don't blame him. He thought he was doing for the best. He's dying, Simon. It's going fast. Maybe that's what brought you here. You caught something of it. Felt it.
Why is he lying outside on the ground?
He wanted to see the sky. Go on, Simon. Take in the watch.
You were born here. You can always come back to them later.
No. It's all over.
There's some news for you. You've got a baby sister.
Have I?
Come on. Time to go back now.